Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust to give you good and patient counsel for investing in your retirement. The Biden administration has caused a financial crisis, and they have no clue how to fix it. Oil prices have skyrocketed, and when oil prices go up, not only do your expenses go up, but the cost of transportation and shipping spikes, leading the prices of goods to rise. And we are already seeing record inflation. That's the last thing that we need. Our economy is in trouble, and you need to take steps to protect yourself. If all your money is tied up in stocks, bonds, and traditional markets, you may be vulnerable. So gold is one of the very best ways to protect your retirement. No matter what happens, you own your own gold. It's real, it's physical, and it's always been valuable since the dawn of time. Call Legacy Precious Metals today at 866-528-1903 or visit them online at legacypminvestments.com. That's legacypminvestments.com, where you can download the free investor's guide. You can also go to my Facebook page, Jenna Ellis. I am a public figure on Facebook, and I just posted yesterday a really great interview with the president of Legacy Precious Metals, who is discussing why you need to start your retirement account even if you're in your 20s or 30s. There is always a great time to protect your retirement and invest, just like you want to protect your health over the long term. So go to Legacy Precious Metals at legacypminvestments.com or call 866-528-1903.
As a constitutional law attorney, former senior legal advisor, and personal counsel to President Donald J. Trump, Jenna Ellis believes in the rule of law and the importance of integrity in our elections. And she's ready to tackle the big cultural and legal issues facing America. This is the Jenna Ellis Show. Here is your host, Jenna Ellis.
Hey friends, and welcome back to the Jenna Ellis Show. My name is Micah Bock, and I'm guest hosting for Jenna Ellis today. And we've got a very special guest today, and that's Erik Finman, the world's youngest Bitcoin millionaire, who's here to break down one of the most important topics of the day, one of the most relevant news stories, which is the FTX debacle. FTX declaring bankruptcy, the $40 million spent on Democratic candidates and Democrat races in the last election, allegations of money laundering that may even touch Ukraine in the Ukraine crisis. And we're going to break all of that down, discuss what you need to know, the truth and the veracity of these rumors and these claims, and exactly what happened with FTX. So let's start right there, though, Erik. Why don't you have the expertise here. You know the crypto space better than pretty much anyone that I know. Can you tell us a little bit about what FTX is, what it does, and what a decentralized or even a centralized crypto exchange, how that operates?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there was this kind of dream of crypto to be able to have an easy way to buy and sell crypto that kind of was usable and also not just usable, but interesting enough for a kind of a non-crypto literate or a normal person to, get into crypto. And FTX was kind of the dream of FTX was that was the way we were going to get kind of just the average person to get into crypto. They had Tom Brady, they had every celebrity you can imagine, endorsing it or being paid to endorse it. That was, it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then you have, the CEO of FTX, that whole company ended up collapsing. And the CEO of it was donating, like you said, $40 million to the Democrats, and seemingly there seems to be money involved with Ukraine and FTX as well, and pretty much every single Democrat you can imagine has their fingerprints on it, and a lot of Hollywood has their fingerprints on it, and the CEO and founder of it himself, Sam Bankman-Fried, has also kind of some interesting relationships and goings-ons in the Bahamas where he lives and where it was headquartered. But yeah, it all ended up collapsing. He promised a 1-to-1. If you put $1 in, you can withdraw $1 at any time. But he ended up spending customer funds on donating to Democrats and putting it in bad investments.
Yeah, that's so interesting because, yes, we can talk about his links to the World Economic Forum. We can talk about his links to large Democrat-run organizations. But what's really intriguing is that this is, just pretty much a simple case of a run on the banks going wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he received a ton of money from individual users who were wanting to invest in cryptocurrencies, and promised them that whenever they wanted to take their money out of the market, whenever they wanted to remove those cryptocurrencies from his exchange, they would be able to do so. And so what essentially you have happening here is a big run on the bank, and he didn't have the money. And the reason he didn't have the money is because he gave it to Democrat candidates. And that's really where I want to get into, because I think this is perhaps one of the biggest financial political scandals of the last 10 years or so, because we're looking at an organization that bankrolled the campaigns for the people that were supposed to be regulating how that organization operated, right? So these individuals, these Democrat senators, these Democrat Congress people were the ones that were writing laws that have impacted FTX. And you have expertise in this space. What would he have wanted through those donations? What was he attempting to garner in terms of favor? What did he want? Zero regulation? Were there certain regulations he didn't want enacted?
I think he just wanted regulations that were, positive for himself. And a reason why this kind of run on the bank type situation happened, and is because kind of word on the street that I heard was he was trying to get Binance banned, which was another Binance banned in the U.S., which was another kind of big way to buy and sell crypto. And then the head of that company kind of paid and did indeed spread a rumor, which was true, that, hey, if you put in $100, seems like $60 was going to Democrats and bad investments, and really they only had $40 of your money. So he kind of spread that true rumor as kind of a little bit of retaliation, from my understanding, at least from the crypto world, that he was spending all your money on Democrats, and I think I saw even on their balance sheet there was something that was. It said Trump lose, and it had $1 million in it that he was putting money into. So that was kind of revenge from a competitor for trying to use the power of the state to get them banned. And then he was correct. The rumor was spread, and he couldn't fulfill all the $6 billion, I think, was withdrawn from FTX in about 24 to 48 hours, and he couldn't pay. And, that caused even more, withdrawals from there, to the point where everyone was trying to get their money out, and thus no one could get their money out because he lied and said, if you put in $1, you get $1 out if you ever want to. And also, you could say, well, he's just doing the same thing as banks. Well, banks are legally allowed to do that, and you could say that's unfair. But crypto exchanges, crypto marketplaces are not allowed to do that. And even if they were, he said we weren't doing that. So, and then it was funny to see he had these, paid viral videos he paid YouTubers. There's literally a YouTuber he paid that has like 10 million followers, and who was also paid by the WF. So Rebel News went to the WF and kind of, put camera paparazzi style, went to some of these speakers and Klaus Schwab and, saying, oh, your global elites are ruining the world. Do you have a comment? And then this guy was paid by the WF to harass the Rebel News guys. And literally after the fact, you can look it up on his YouTube channel. He said he had a debate with the Rebel News guys saying why the global elite, he literally used the term, the global elites are good. Debating with the Rebel News guy. And then Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO and founder of FTX, or I guess former CEO, he resigned a couple days ago. He paid that guy, or at least I think he got paid. He should have gotten paid for what was absolutely a sucking up type video to him. And it was like, oh, look at Sam Bankman-Fried. He has a belief called earn to give, which is he just wants to earn all this money to be able to give it away. And they seem to be phrasing it like he was giving it away to charity or something. But it was like, it's like giving on Act Blue to Democrat candidates. It's like, oh, he just wants to earn to be able to give all his money away to, John Fetterman and those type of people. I mean, it was like, oh, he wants to give to veterans. No, it wasn't that. It was just donate to Democrats.
Well, yeah, and the evidence speaks to that. He was Biden's second top donor in the 2020 race. I think he gave $10 million that race. And then he upped that this cycle by a factor of 4. What's really interesting is that Biden announces a few weeks later, FTX is an overnight success. Sam Bankman-Fried immediately bankrolls the Biden campaign. And then as money pours in heading into the midterms, he bankrolls Democrat races in key swing states across the United States. And then right after the midterms end, FTX folds. So what you're looking at is an operation that obviously causation and correlation aren't always linked to each other, but what we're looking at here is an operation that seems very clearly to have heavily been linked to the Democrat Party and their fundraising mechanisms. And I want to get into that a little bit more because it wasn't just bankrolling Democrat candidates using the money that individuals invested into FTX, was it? It was also using money from foreign sources. And I want to talk about those foreign sources for a second. Because Ukraine has links to FTX. Ukraine worked with them on a donation program very early on into the Ukrainian conflict. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, what was it? Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong here. Wasn't it like, yeah, if you would get like a certain bonus or something and FTT token. So yeah, FTX had, a token, kind of, I guess, a competitor to kind of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies called FTX token or FTT. And then, yeah, exactly as you said, he set up a whole donation program. He received money from you. So we were sending money to Ukraine and he was receiving money from it. I'd be interested to see if they got their money out, in any type of way. It was actually interesting. There was this quote unquote hack recently that happened with FTX. And, they said, the remaining money that we did have left was all stolen. But I think that was, Sam Bankman-Fried probably and his allies probably just, taking money back for themselves or having to pay back people, like governments, that they said, hey, we'll have your head if you don't give us our money back. And I think that has absolutely to do with Ukraine. So yeah, there's a cycle of FTX, I saw like a funny little diagram. It's like FTX has the money, it goes to lobbying the Democrats and funding Biden. And then, then Biden sends money to Ukraine, then Ukraine gives money to FTX. And, just a little cycle of money laundering there.
It's time to make your health great again as we get closer to the new year. For anyone looking to ignite your fat-burning metabolism, boost your energy, and transform how you look and feel, you must start taking care of your liver now. Your liver is your body's master detoxifier. It performs over 500 key functions in your body every day. It's responsible for cleansing and removing thousands of harmful toxins, man-made chemicals, alcohol, and dangerous food additives and preservatives. After decades of wear and tear, our livers slow down and become sluggish. And this is why so many of us struggle with weight gain and feeling tired all of the time. So fortunately, there is a simple, all-natural solution that I absolutely recommend. It's called Liver Health Formula. Liver Health Formula contains 12 powerful botanicals clinically proven to recharge and protect your liver at the cellular level. It also helps restore your liver's detoxifying abilities, boost your energy levels, and you can kick your natural metabolism into high gear. So Liver Health Formula is backed by science and approved by American doctors. Every bottle is also manufactured right here in America too. So as of right now, as a listener to the Jenna Ellis Show, you can try Liver Health Formula completely risk-free and receive 5 free gifts when you order today. First, you'll receive a free 30-day supply of nano-powered omega-3. This is a powerful blend of omega-3 fatty acids that supports a healthy heart and brain, with 4 times better absorption thanks to this special nano delivery system. You'll also get 4 free ebooks to support every aspect of your health and longevity, regardless of your age. So go to getliverhelp.com/Jenna or call toll-free at 800-282-1757 to claim your risk-free supply of Liver Health Formula and all 5 bonus gifts. That's getliverhelp.com/Jenna or call 1-800-282-1757. You're covered by their 365-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing at all to risk. But supplies are limited, so head over to getliverhelp.com/Jenna or call toll-free 800-282-1757 now to order Liver Health Formula and get your 5 free bonus gifts. That's getliverhelp.com/Jenna or call 1-800-282-1757.
You know, being able to prove the links between all of those different organizations to prove money laundering is something that you're going to have subpoena power to do.
Yep.
Right. So we'll have to look at this incoming Congress to see if we can maintain Republican control of the House, if we will be able to, launch a committee investigation to see what was actually going on here. Because you're right, it smells incredibly fishy. You have an organization that is sending millions of dollars to Democrat lawmakers who then go on the House floor and demand that we send your dollars, taxpayer dollars, to Ukraine, and Ukraine then takes those dollars and gives them right back to the organization that was funding those candidates, who then dumps that money back in those candidates' pockets. So what you have is a circle here that smells heavily of money laundering, and the only way we're going to get to the bottom of it is if the Republican Congress in this incoming administration decides to act. Now, obviously, we don't know whether or not we're going to have control, but it's looking more and more likely that we will by just a few votes. And if the Republican Congress does not act, you have to ask the question, were any of them on the take as well? There was broad bipartisan support for different resolutions giving money to Ukraine. And so we need to dig through those financial records. Every journalist needs to be looking through those to see who was getting money, where was that money going, and where were their votes lining up with the interests of FTX and the interests of the Ukrainian regime.
Well, this is exactly what, the globalist American empire does and has been doing since the 80s, is just funding, companies and nonprofits, usually internationally, solely internationally, and then laundering that money back to themselves, or laundering money to, elect the people that they want to elect in these places that are loyal to them. I mean, it's crazy when people don't realize, the federal government in the US, and then also other governments too, they just have fat budgets to be able to get, to fund democracy abroad. And it's the opposite of funding democracy abroad. They just give tons of money to people that they want. Like, for example, the U.S. gave a lot of money to the Green Party in Germany because they advocated for getting the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, off, due for environmental reasons. And, they wanted that destroyed because they didn't want Russia to be able to make money from selling oil to Europe. And this is something that, the U.S., again, has been doing since the 80s. People don't really realize how George Soros got rich. People think he just didn't start off as an evil hedge fund manager. He was a pretty small, low-level hedge fund guy, Wall Street guy, before the Open Society Foundation, which, if you read his book, which is very interesting, he said, I just started this for his tax break in South Africa. That was where the first Open Society kind of foundation was opened, was in South Africa. And, the government just ended up, and the intelligence community just ended up putting tons of money into the Open Society Foundation to end up, kind of funding. And then through that foundation on the ground, they would end up funding kind of their allies and buying up media companies, et cetera, to affect change that was in, I guess, the globalist American empire's interests. And just seems FTX was another model of that, because that's how George Soros became the Democrats' biggest donor, was because of the U.S. government giving them money, and him also having advance notice when countries, and being actually a part of countries getting, regime change, and him being able to just buy up and short or, the relevant industries when regime change was going to happen. And that's how FTX looked like it was making its money, in the same way that the number one Democrat donor made its money, which is just the government sending money and it just all kind of getting cycled around.
Yeah. It's interesting that in this society where we have access to so much information, so many people believe that the government isn't capable of doing these things, or that the government hasn't done these things before, when they absolutely have. And the media has, frankly, for the large part, turned a blind eye. Not every journalist. I noticed that there were a number of articles looking at kind of a top level view of how much money had been given to Democrats, but we need to know names. So not every journalist is turning a blind eye, but, imagine if the tables were turned, right? A friend of mine, when I was discussing this with them, who's very involved in the crypto industry, said, this is obviously not on the same monetary scale, but this is like Bernie Madoff taking the money from the people that he robbed, his investors, and using it to fund Donald Trump's initial 2020 campaign. That's what this is like, just on a much more expanded scale, because there's so much more money involved here. And, Erik, you're in the industry. You see how this affects retail investors and interest in the market and trust in the market. Is there a way to regain trust in crypto institutions? I know you're a conservative, you're very involved in the conservative movement, and you believe in the benefits of decentralized cryptocurrency. Has trust been destroyed? Is there a way to recover that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the honest truth of it, I don't know if this is the best marketing of it, but the honest truth of it is, government laundering money to, basically the party that owns all the institutions in the U.S., which is the Democrat Party. One of their, I don't think that it just, I actually do believe it did kind of collapse, after midterms, just kind of coincidentally, or really because of the CZ thing. I don't think that they were just done with him and using him. I think FTX was going to be a regular money kind of run around operation for them. And, one of their ops kind of failed, and that's just another day in the, globalist American empire. And they'll find something new to cycle money or go through the tried and true nonprofit route, that they do. So yeah, I mean, I would say this has nothing really to do with crypto, and is just, a bunch of meddling, by the state to, kind of transfer money and crash things. And they made a bad bet on that one. And that really doesn't have a lot to do with the crypto industry. And yeah, just be careful, where you put your money into. I think this is the truth, is places like Coinbase, you don't actually the beauty of Bitcoin was that you can carry your entire net worth on a USB stick, and something the size of a USB stick. And you just have a special password. They're called keys in crypto. And as long as you have that password, for your crypto, you own it. That's yours. But if you don't have it and it's just a login to Coinbase, or a login, I guess, to FTX, or a login to BlockFi, which recently got caught up in the FTX stuff, it's, just, you don't own your own crypto. It's like having someone else store your gold for you. So just make sure that you are owning your own cryptocurrency. There's plenty of apps to do it, and just be careful. And also, don't put your money with people that fund Democrats, because usually they're up to something then.
Yeah, definitely do your research. But that really is the beauty of crypto and decentralized finance in general. Is the goal of it is to take these middlemen out of the equation, to give you the power to utilize your currency and your money and your assets the way that you see fit, without anyone dictating how you do it or taking those funds from you like centralized banking does. And, centralized exchanges are really nice because they make things incredibly convenient when you're wanting to trade tokens or trade different types of cryptocurrencies. But the risks of those is that whoever runs the centralized exchange controls your money. So be very careful, as you're saying, with which ones you utilize. Use decentralized exchanges, use cold wallets, use places where you actually own the funds versus organizations actually owning it themselves. I think that's a really, really good point. Erik, I want to ask you one final question about all of this. And that really is, when you look at where SBF is right now, where Sam Bankman-Fried is, what do you think is going to happen to him? I know he's in the Bahamas, I believe. He's under surveillance by the government. Do you think this is going to go to criminal charges? I mean, he's essentially committed fraud on a mass scale. Do you think people are going to be indicted? Do you think that politicians could be indicted? And what should those politicians do with those funds that they received through these illicit means?
Yeah, I mean, I heard just right before this interview that Sam Bankman-Fried was trying to raise money to be able to cover all the debts. So I guess he would have to raise $5 to $10 billion to fix his problem. And maybe with that again, the Democrats unfortunately own all the institutions in the United States. They own, even if you appoint a Republican cabinet head of cabinet minister, or sorry, I'm in British mode, cabinet minister, appoint like a head of, Department of Energy or any of these departments. It's all down Democrats, all the career people that you can't fire, all Democrats, university system, etc. All Democrats. Wall Street seem to have switched over to at least be moderate Democrat, quote unquote, moderate Democrats. So, I tend to be pessimistic, and, we'll probably think he gets off scot-free and gets $20 billion from George Soros or Bill Gates or somebody and rides off to the sunset, and the system continues. The money situation continues. But I don't know if I'm a pessimist. I give it a 25% chance he goes to jail, 75% chance he goes scot-free. You look at the New York Times, they're giving him, oh, poor baby, type treatment, and that's it, and welcome to, I look at if a conservative did this, they'd be serving life in prison. Anyone who took money from them would be under investigation. If the Democrats were good, if they were positive thinkers, and had integrity, they would refund the money in its entirety. Democrats should refund the money in its entirety, but they'll either save their guy, just because they're all so involved in it, which I think is more likely, or they'll just throw him under the bus as another victim of the globalist American empire, which, I give that a 25% chance that they're like, screw this guy. We used him. We're done with him. Throw him off to jail.
Well, I guess we'll see if we have a Republican Congress, how the Republican Congress acts. And as you're saying, Democrats have a moral obligation to give back those funds, perhaps put them into a fund for restitution for those who did lose money. And the same goes for Republicans. If Republicans receive money, as I know some did through FTX, they have that obligation as well. We need to hold up the mirror equally to everyone. So whoever received money on the political side from FTX should pay it back. They have a moral obligation to do so. And we'll see if the Republicans have the will to act on this issue if we take back the House here, as we'll probably see in the next couple weeks or so. So, Erik, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your insight. It's always incredible to hear from someone who has such experience in the crypto world and the crypto industry. I guess we'll see where we go from here, and perhaps we'll check back in soon.
I agree. Grandmothers and grandfathers got their money taken away for, donating to Joe Biden. And I hope that Joe Biden and all these other people give their money back and help those people. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust to give you good and patient counsel for investing in your retirement. The Biden administration has caused a financial crisis, and they have no clue how to fix it. Oil prices have skyrocketed, and when oil prices go up, not only do your expenses go up, but the cost of transportation and shipping spikes, leading the prices of goods to rise. And we are already seeing record inflation. That's the last thing that we need. Our economy is in trouble, and you need to take steps to protect yourself. If all your money is tied up in stocks, bonds, and traditional markets, you may be vulnerable. So gold is one of the very best ways to protect your retirement. No matter what happens, you own your own gold. It's real, it's physical, and it's always been valuable since the dawn of time. Call Legacy Precious Metals today at 866-528-1903 or visit them online at legacypminvestments.com. That's legacypminvestments.com, where you can download the free investor's guide. You can also go to my Facebook page, Jenna Ellis. I am a public figure on Facebook, and I just posted yesterday a really great interview with the president of Legacy Precious Metals, who is discussing why you need to start your retirement account even if you're in your 20s or 30s. There is always a great time to protect your retirement and invest, just like you want to protect your health over the long term. So go to Legacy Precious Metals at legacypminvestments.com or call 866-528-1903. MyPillow is having their biggest sheet sale of the year. You all have helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. Now, Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO, wants to give back exclusively to you, his listeners. The Percale bed sheet set is available in a variety of colors and sizes, and they are all on sale. So, for example, the queen size is regularly priced at $89.98, but is now only $39.98 with our listener promo code Jenna, Jenna. So order now, because when they're gone, they're gone. The Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool and crisp feel. These come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so don't miss out on this incredible offer. There's a limited supply, so be sure to order now. You can call 1-800-564-8475 and use the promo code Jenna, or go to mypillow.com/Jenna. You can click on the radio listeners square and use the promo code Jenna. That's Jenna. Thank you so much to all of Mike Lindell's listeners and listeners of this podcast for making sure to support MyPillow and using our exclusive listener promo code Jenna. That's Jenna.